You might think these paintings are already finished, but let me show you what happens when I make just a few small adjustments. Hi there, I'm Janine. I'm an artist and I share my creative journey on this channel. When you're working on an abstract painting, knowing when to stop can be quite tricky, but sometimes just a few tweaks can bring the whole painting together. And today I'll show you how I approach those final stages and show you some small adjustments that can make quite a big difference. I'm going to look at where I can intensify some colours, soften some lines, and add some breathing room to where it's maybe a bit too busy. When I'm getting closer to the end of a painting, I like to sometimes just test little tweaks before I do them on the painting. So here's one of my paintings. It actually looked like this. It's not a super accurate photo. I don't go into trying to improve all the lightness and darkness and the colors. Just a quick snapshot so I can work on it. So this, for example, is quite a bit darker in real life. So one thing I thought was this yellow bits down here, it'd be nice if they were connected and a little bit more intense. So I just added a little bit of yellow here, and I think that really brings the whole piece together. Then on this little one, so that's what it looks like currently, and then taking back some of these lines, because there's a lot of lines and I do like the lines, but I think here they were a bit too distracting, so I just added a little bit of calm there. Then this one I think probably still needs quite a lot of change. So it currently looks like this. I think it's a little bit too hectic for what I want on such a small scale. I thought, what if I add a lot of light in the middle? I do like to do that quite a lot in my paintings. When it feels too busy, just add a large, spacious light area or dark. And then I've also actually made a few bits a bit more intense yellow. You see here it wasn't quite as yellow, and I just made that a bit more saturated. This one I don't think I've got anything I want to change on here really, and this one I think might still need a bit more work, but I just tested getting rid of some of the line work like here and there. Just take it, actually not getting rid of them, just making them a little bit less noticeable and blend in the background a bit more, and I already really love that. So I think I'm quite close to finishing these, but there's a few changes I want to make. One of them is, I think this yellow area could be a little bit more intense. So I'm just going to add some pure yellow oxide and add that on top here. Which will kind of connect this and this yellow bit, because you see there was quite a bit of a darker bit there. I want the edge to be quite soft though. So we'll let that dry and see how it looks then. On this one I want to take some of that line work back just a little bit. So I think down here I want to make this bit blend into the background a bit more. So I'll try and kind of match a colour that matches this background. It's going to be a bit tricky because the background's actually quite textured. It's a fairly neutral colour. It's also a little bit lighter. Not as light, but it will dry darker. And then maybe even some of this one here. And I'm just seeing if there's any others that I want to remove. But I do think I like it like that. It does have a lot of energy still. One thing I'm just thinking, maybe I add a little bit more saturated red here. No. Just very subtle. Don't know if that made it better or worse. We'll see later. I really love this area, but I think it doesn't quite... and I'm holding onto this one too much. So for the good of the whole painting, I think I need to cover quite a bit of this and make it a bit lighter. I've got this colour, which I think is a bit too pinky beige, so I'm going to add a little bit of the blue to it. So I've just got a touch of the blue and mix in with this. Let's see what that looks like. I really like these light bits here, so I'm trying to blend it into that. And I always like if I have a little bit of variation in these light areas. So I might add a little bit more blue to some of it. Just taking some of this up here away again, maybe making it a bit more texture. Not keen on this very strong edge here. Just adding a bit more of the other light colour here. And then I also wanted to make some of these bits a bit more noticeably yellow, which once it dries might look exactly the same. Now here, I think if I take this bit back, it'll already look better. So again, I'm just trying to find some kind of colour that's similar to what's in the background. And I'm just making it a little bit less light in value. So that will already make it not grab so much attention, because it kind of blends into the background. Currently the contrast between the light and the dark around it is very strong, so my eye definitely goes there. And I don't want it to get caught up too much in this section. I also don't want to be super precise, so I'm just trying to scribble over it to still keep a little bit of that looseness. And also I think down here, this bit, I could make a little bit less noticeable. I'll take this back even more.
If you like this video, consider subscribing.
So I'm just adding another layer. I think some of these marks up here are also a bit too strong. Quite like that now. On this one where I added the yellow earlier, I think I want to get rid of some of these bluer bits here and make them a bit more brown, just so it feels a bit more harmonious with the rest that's going on here. That's better, I think. This one now looks a little bit chalky and flat, so I want to sand some of that back and maybe go over it with a yellow glaze to bring it in a little bit more into this area. So I'm just adding a little bit of fluid medium. This is the Jackson's Own acrylic fluid gloss medium. And I'm using that a bit like a glazing fluid to just thin my acrylic paint down quite a bit, so I can get a more transparent layer. Also want to warm it up a little bit. I've really been enjoying adding just some yellow to paintings. It just adds a little bit of fun. Just adding a little bit of yellow down here as well. It's not really yellow that I've got on my brush anymore. I'm thinking whether to interrupt this line here by adding a bit of purple on top of the blue so that disappears. But I do quite like that it's a little bit dissonant, this line. Kind of adds a bit of tension. I don't want everything to look too resolved. This one I think is still looking a little bit too wild. It actually looks better on camera now that I look at it in the viewfinder. But I think I could make this area here a little bit more homogeneous and a little bit lighter maybe even. And also I think I need to take this back a little bit more.
It's amazing how small changes like adding some more light areas or adjusting colours a little can really give your paintings that finishing touch that they needed. And the key is to trust your instincts and don't be afraid to even make some bigger changes at the end if that feels right. If you want to know how to get your paintings from messy and chaotic to resolved and finished, then take a look at my Intuitive Artist's Composition Guide, where I take you through my whole process of refining intuitive paintings. All of these paintings are now available on my website, and to see how they started out, take a look at the video I've linked below. Thanks and bye bye.